Yat and welcome to Four Directions of Wellness. I'm Roberta Diswood. Twobahanishle, Sisakani Bashichin, Nakaidene Deshache, Hanahi Deshanelle. Miss Navajo Nation 2024 to 2025, Ranisha Begay was crowned on Saturday, September 7th at the Window Rock Fairgrounds during the Navajo Nation Fair. From that moment, she has been on the road visiting communities, universities, senior centers, schools, and many other places across the Navajo Nation and beyond. Thank you, Ranisha, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. Would you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes. Yat she net otnet katuni nishle tkatnesani bashichin kinya ani dashiche ye denet katini dashinale she Ranisha Begay yinishye shema doshe Rodrigo Deschini do Christopher Begay shema sane doshe Cynthia do Roger Deschini wilya shanela sa do shanela haski Eloise do Bobby Begay she tensades ahade nasha adi look up be todo telilnanda tadato benashi si kehste do arashiaho a coche na kidemil do ana din do na kidemil do ana dinishkla na be hobaje kenshle ado he kude hagoshid need he.
Thank you again, Ranisha. So as Miss Navajo Nation, what is your platform?
My platform is centered around the importance of Navajo language and our teachings and stories that we carry with us. So wherever I go, I try to emphasize in Navajo, Besa zinigi e denek eko hanet do natnetien be ina dolel. And that's just signifying we have Navajo language, and most of our stories are told in the Navajo language, and with that there are teachings and lessons within each story, and it's important that us as Navajo people carry that with us throughout our lives. And when it comes to the youth, the adults, the elders, just reiterating the importance of language and storytelling to our youth and having them comprehend the lessons within each of those stories is important, and just being able to carry that with them as they go through their everyday lives is what I try to focus on.
Wow, okay. And so thinking about your platform, what are some of the activities that you have been able to do?
So with my platform, it's really diverse. So in the school setting, I do my best to reach the youth, but also in any kind of setting where it's like chapters or senior centers, I speak to the adults and the elders. And in those settings, I do my best to share stories. So if I have an invitation to speak to any type of school setting or locally in a chapter or a senior center, I try to share my stories that my parents have shared with me from a young age and then up to this point. So just being able to share those stories with them is really important to me. In the school setting, I feel like being able to have the students listen to me and share stories about, like, in the case of me sharing a story, I like to talk about like the Navajo corn story and just the significance behind the corn, what it's used for in multiple different ways, and how we carry that with us. So in a lot of those settings, I try to emphasize the importance of storytelling and then using the language in the best of my ability. So that's what I do. But also, as Miss Navajo Nation, I've learned a lot about just working with communities. So in other aspects, I do my best to work on also different projects. So in that case, I try to provide assistance. So one of the projects that we're working on is providing like wood pellets, coal tickets, and things like that for communities who need assistance. So those are other projects that we try to work on.
So it's a good way of melding the language part and storytelling along with like the community service aspect of being Miss Navajo.
Yes.
So becoming Miss Navajo, how has your background helped to shape you?
Yes, so at a young age, it was really important for me to learn the language and learn the culture. I remember when I was younger, my dad would tell me stories, my mom would tell me stories, my grandparents, and that's where it sparked my interest of like, wow, this is kind of the reason why things are the way they are on our nation, and it's important that everyone across the Navajo Nation knows some of these stories because that's who we are as Navajo people. So, like I said, from a very young age, I did my best to comprehend the language and then the stories that are with it. So, along the way, I just tried to gain as much as I can, and when it was time to run for Miss Navajo, I kind of flipped back and I was like, yes, these are the stories that I want to share, and share it in my language so that we can carry those forward forward to the next generation.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that you grew up in Rock Point, and Rock Point has an immersion school. How has that helped you get to this point in your life?
Yes, I credit a lot of my learnings and teachings from Rock Point. Rock Point is a very good school that emphasizes the importance of language and culture. So I remember, like, throughout my educational journey at Rock Point, there was always a Navajo language and culture class, and in the classroom it was always learning more about the language and more about the culture, asking questions to understand who we are as Navajo people, and that's what allowed me to take those questions home and also ask my parents. So it was kind of a cohesive thing where the school and my home teachings came together. But the one thing about Rock Point is the community there. We're a small community, so we pretty much know our relatives who are in the area, and it's really interesting to listen to everyone's part and their interest in reteaching the Navajo language and culture. So I do owe it a lot to Rock Point because they share a lot about who we are as Navajo people, and they want to continue that.
Oh, it's really cool to have a school like that be able to continue the teachings in Navajo, mm-hmm. as well as, you can take that home and ask mom and dad about yes. more of that.
Yeah.
So as we are thinking about different things, what are your future plans for what you want to do after you complete your reign as Miss Navajo?
Yes, so after my reign, it's probably going to be bittersweet. It's this reign has given me a lot of opportunities and has given me a lot of knowledge. So I'm excited to see what else is in store for me with the rest of my reign, but also what other opportunities are available to me after my reign. So it's kind of like an open door for me, but one of the important things is going back to school. So I graduated with my bachelor's, so hopefully hop into a graduate program. And before I came Miss Navajo, I was actually working with the finance and accounting team at Dina College. So that's where I learned a lot about my accounting skills and learning how to work with accounts and things like that. So I hope to go into that direction. I found interest in that, and I want to continue to learn more about how to manage those types of things within finance. So I hope to go down that route for education.
Well, that's always good to take, where you were and then start working your way to another area.
Yes.
So, and then the last thing we wanted to talk about was, is there a message of encouragement that you have for our youth?
Yes. Along with my platform, I feel like one of the important messages to share with the youth is the importance of our language. Dinek Etche, that's who we are, and I understand it is tough. Like for myself, I'm still learning, and I do my best to speak it whenever I can. And when I'm speaking to communities, I do my best to share as much as I can in the Navajo language. And I want to encourage the youth to do the same, try to speak the language as best as they can and ask questions, how to pronounce things. And I know it's really tough, but it's something beautiful that we can carry on with us as Navajo people. So I would like to share that with them, but also in any aspect of life, we always have the teaching of Tahu Jitego. It's up to you. So if you want to go down the route of athletics, education, anything like that, community work. If you want to be in those spaces, it's up to you to make the effort and make the decision and be a part of that change. So it's up to them, the youth. It's up to them if they want to go do something and be something.
Well, thank you, Ranisha, for being here. This has been 4 Directions of Wellness. Hug on it.